you look at things through the Jewish perspective, because they know. It's their customs and things that are going to open up everything. Mary Lou.
What?
Okay. Anyway, can we get back to this now?
Yep.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. Taylor.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to split though here. Got it.
Let's just get focused, guys.
Steve's going to put this whole thing on it. No, you are not. Anyway, God went through an awful lot of trouble to create a cherubim that was perfect, that was made for music. And with that, I just want to turn to 1 Chronicles 9:27. Because even way, way back in the beginning, God loved music. Definitely. So, what did I say? 1 Chronicles 9:27. All right, here we go. Okay, we're going to go at 9:28 actually. Now, some of them were in charge of the serving vessels. See, this is a few of the different ways that the Old Testament would convey a sense of worship by having different jobs and different duties and different things that they did unto the Lord. Whether it was being in charge of serving vessels, and they brought them in and took them out by count. Some of them were appointed over the furnishings and over all the implements of the sanctuary. That's a form of worship. I know Jamie and Rob, they come here every Saturday morning and they clean this whole sanctuary, the bathrooms, everything. That's a form of worship. It's being humble, being a servant. And over the fine flour and the wine and the oil and the incense and the spices. And some of the sons of the priests made the ointment of the spices. Another sign of worship. They were preparing the way for the priests. They were preparing the way for the ceremonies. Everybody has a task to do. And then it says that these are the singers. Okay, so way back, the Levitical, the Levites that were appointed the priesthood of the tribe of Israel, all the tribes of Israel. God induces singers and music. And it says, these are the singers, the heads of the fathers, the houses of the Levites, who lodged in the chambers and were free from other duties. They didn't have to do anything but sing and worship. That's what they did all day long, all night long. That was what they did. And this is what God's calling you guys to do. This core right here, this group with that steadfast heart, the guys that put off all that other stuff that's calling to them, and show up here and honor God and worship Him by showing up. He's calling you guys to have that type of state of mind. He's calling you to follow your heart. That heart of steadfast completeness, the heart that always tries to worship Him at all times. I'll be on a ladder 2.5 stories in the air, and I'll be talking to God or praying to God or singing to God because I love Him with every ounce of my being. And I worship Him in everything. Even if it's just looking into the lady's window and saying, God bless you. I'm doing something in this. I try to stay in a state of worship all the time. Stop that, Kate. I know what you were thinking. It was after the lady leaned out and said, who's that on the ladder? Nothing. Next thing came was his face light up, and I said, "Look in the ladies' window." I'll never do something like that. Anyway, I knew what she was thinking. I can read it in her face. Anyway, I just want you guys to say, look, worship was the primary focus of many Israelites whose vocation centered on the house. Listen, seriously, this is important. Okay? What it's saying in verse 33 is that worship was the primary focus of many Israelites, okay, whose vocation centered on the house of the Lord. Worship, in parentheses, it says, appreciating God for his nature and his worth, should occupy the core of our lives, and not just a few minutes once a week. We too can worship at all hours if we stay aware of God's presence and guidance in all situations, and if we maintain an attitude of serving him. Build your life around the worship of God rather than making worship just another activity in a busy schedule. That's probably about all I have tonight, but the most important thing I'm trying to convey tonight is, one, the importance of music to God. Because, well, no, one is that there's so many facets in worship, okay? Just being honest, up there playing music and singing is not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to worship. Because true worship comes by your lifestyle, the state of your heart, and everything that you do every day. Right? You guys listening to me? Second row, 3 in the middle. Okay? True worship comes from a state of, like the Bible says, a state of spirit and a state of truth. You can't obtain that reverence for the Lord in 10 minutes when you walk in here on worship night, or in 10 minutes when you come in here on Sunday morning. You can't say, okay, I'm going to be in spirit and truth right now. It doesn't happen like that. Okay? It happens by, Isaiah, it happens by living a lifestyle unto the Lord. It happens by having respect in Bible study, listening to what I'm trying to tell you. Because it took me most of my life to figure this one out. It took me till I was like almost 40 years old to figure this one out. And I'm giving you guys a hint. You can have it now. But anyway, that's it. Next week. Okay, go ahead. Go on.
Joy.
You want to say something?
I said, and how old are you now?
29. It's getting younger. Anyway, nice guy. All right, there's one other point I might get to here.
Amen.
You never saw Get rid of that now, man. When the pastor walked in.
That's just great.
That's not cool at all.
That nearly you're fired up.
All right, there's one more point. This is really cool. This just jumped out at me today right before I came. The Levites were in this constant state of worship, all right? And in the fact that God so loved music, right, check this out, that it is about the only temple ministry to survive the revolutionary consequences of Jesus Christ, giving the ultimate sacrifice. Every single ministry that was put in place in the Old Testament in the temple is gone.